For you I cry, for you dear only. I tell you I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul.
Hello and welcome to the March video edition of Cry Me a Torch Song. I'm Piers Ford and we've just been listening to Body and Soul, one of the great standard Torch songs, and also the opening track on All or Nothing, a celebration of classics from the Billie Holiday songbook, which was recently released by Edana Minghella. Now, if the name sounds familiar, Edana is one of a remarkable group of siblings who include Dominic, of course, the creator of the much-loved television series Doc Martin, and the late Anthony, the much-missed Oscar-winning director of The English Patient. Edana's album is a silky, fluent collection. On one level, it's a respectful tribute to Billie Holiday, referencing that unique phrasing and tone, but without ever resorting to mere imitation. Rather than singing Strange Fruit, for example, she intones Abel Meeropol's original poem against a modern, increasingly ominous musical arrangement, which takes over as the words are left hanging in the air. On another level, the album equally highlights Edana's own subtle jazz singer's touch. The lyrical clarity draws you closer and closer to the speakers and envelops you, giving the sense of a singer who is thoroughly engaged with the unravelling story and is able to establish an intimate rapport with her audience. There are plenty of lighter moments, to be sure, but it's in the quiet drama of songs like Don't Explain and You've Changed that Edana Minghella's interpretations really establish themselves. They're studied with sudden flashes of revelation and realization. So here's an extract from You've Changed.
You've changed, the sparkle in your eyes has gone. Your smile is just a careless yawn. You're breaking my heart. You've changed.
Well, from one dynastic name to another, this time Kate Dimbleby, a singer who's very much established her own musical territory, and her new album, Songbirds, is a moving, remarkable, and I'm actually going to say brave piece of work. It amounts to a celebration of the human voice's capacity to express both profound experience and fleeting emotions through song. Why do I say it's brave? Well, principally because it's an a cappella album. It's underscored here by occasional unobtrusive percussion and lifted there by layered harmonies, but mainly it's just Kate Dimbleby's voice taking us on a journey through a rich set of self-penned songs. Well, in these noisy, clamouring times, it's completely refreshing and absorbing. And never more so than in the climactic Life Is, which builds to the increasingly urgent realization that we should never put off telling people how much they matter to us, because it's just too late when they're gone. And that's a simple message which embodies the ethos of this album. Songbirds really is a triumph.
No one can tell you how it was back then, or ever feel it for you. But in the moment I'm remembering That day I saw you.
Well, that was Kate Dimbleby singing Life Is. Now, Helene Greenwood has released an extraordinary concept album, Exquisitely Hopeless. It's a journey from urban domesticity to cosmic experience, with a growing sense of freedom coming throughout. Co-produced with James Hallowell, it's a record of multiple textures and quirky poetic lyrics. Spacious, dreamy arrangements give way to incantations and spectral echoes, and an encounter even with psychic Madame Marina. There will inevitably be comparisons with trailblazers like Kate Bush and Tori Amos, but for me, Helene Greenwood's inventiveness and eclectic sounds are equally reminiscent of someone like Gwyneth Herbert, with their ability to capture a moment or a thought in a nuanced rhythm or a ghostly melody. The songs are all self-penned, with the exception of a complete reimagining of the Bacharach David classic, Say a Little Prayer. It's so different and audacious that it takes a while to realise you're listening to something utterly familiar. But here's a snippet from the opening track. This is the news today.
I sit out on my balcony on the 10th apartment building, stare through the ornamental glass, the real and unreal blur into me. I'm sorry you're still. I'm sorry you're still gone.
That was the news from Helene Greenwood. And finally this month to the catch-up slot, which is what it's becoming, and something equally inventive in Light to the Ledge. This is a bluesy, jazz-tinged album with a hint of music hall and chanson from Julie KcKee. There are story songs here that feel at once bathed in nostalgia and reminiscence, and bracingly contemporary, laced with a dash of London history. The bitterness of the washed-up club MC, the snatched and doomed wartime romance, and the corrupt corporate executive, they're all part of McKee's rich tapestry. It's an album that rewards repeated listening, and it brings to life a cast of characters who we could all be brushing shoulders with as we hurtle through the city. I'll leave you this month in the company of the fallen ballerina, who's traded promises and dreams for dancing for tips, and I'll look forward to bringing you my thoughts on more new albums next month.
She glides through the room as the hungry await, carving 12s with her plates in the air. To sighs as the mains and the wine grace the table, the belle of her own premiere. She dances for tips and assuages their fears, although some take a liberty or two. They don't know. How could they understand? It's not just a job that you do, 'cause she's a ballerina.